Hello, I'm Judy Corrao, and welcome to America Salutes Its Veterans. How and what are many of the issues affecting our veterans there today? Well, we're going to spend some time with Milton Schoen, who's the Director of Veteran Service for Hennepin County. Welcome. We're
Thank
so
you,
glad
Judy.
that you're here. And Brockton Hunter. And Brockton is a criminal law attorney who dedicates much of his practice to helping and supporting veterans and has done quite a study on PTSD. Welcome, Brockton.
Thank you, Judy.
So happy that you have come here with us today. Well, take us through a little history.
Well, I think the first thing that's important to know, Judy, is that nearly 1.8 million Americans have now served in Iraq or Afghanistan. And a recent RAND Corporation study showed that over a third of them are suffering from either post-traumatic stress disorder or traumatic brain injury. The good news is that we know more about these psychological injuries than ever before, and our treatments for them are more effective than ever before.
Why do we have this many psychological injuries?
Well, because that's a natural side effect of war. That's another thing that we're learning about post-traumatic stress disorder, is that it's nothing new. The label is new, but psychological trauma from war is something that has occurred with war going all the way back to the beginnings of war. And we find in even going back into historical Greek literature 3,000 years ago, very vivid depictions of post-traumatic stress disorder.
So it's nothing new.
It's a natural reaction to very unusual experiences, and it really is a coping mechanism of the mind. We're learning more about it, and there's no better place to receive treatment for this condition than through the VA healthcare system. And I'd also note that Brockton is a Army veteran. He was a scout. He served on the DMZ, the Demilitarized Zone in Korea, and he has personal knowledge as being...
You don't look old enough to ever have served in Korea.
I didn't serve in the Korean War.
And you didn't serve in the
no.
Korean War, so I just want to bring that out so
Yes.
viewers don't think that.
That's right. I did serve in a combat unit, which I think has given me a little bit better insight into the culture that our veterans come out of and why it is often so difficult for them to admit that they've got a problem and admit that they need to get help for that problem.
What is that culture? I know people are hearing so much about it, but people, regular, normal people who have not served, and there's multi% of them because only a few % have served, want to know what they could do and how they can attain a better understanding of what's going on.
The culture, I think, is best defined as a warrior culture. And it's very distinct and different than anything that exists anywhere else in
because
the
that's the way
average
they were
American
trained
life.
by
That's
Americans?
Right. That's right. The American military is very effective at taking civilian kids and turning them into warriors. And they're trained to withstand incredible stresses and accomplish missions that the average person would not be able to accomplish. The problem, though, is that psychological conditioning creates in the veteran a sense that they should be able to handle anything. I call it Superman syndrome. And when they come back to civilian life and they're struggling with some of the problems of post-traumatic stress disorder or traumatic brain injury, it's often difficult for them to admit that they've got a problem that they can't handle themselves.
What do you both do about it?
Well, I can give you examples of Vietnam veterans who, 25 years after the war, they'd had 25 jobs, 3 or 4 marriages, 4 or 5 DWIs. Their life essentially had been a living hell, and part of that was because that they didn't get the help they needed early on. And what we want to do after this conflict is to make sure that we connect with individuals that need help so that they're not going to wind up in further criminal situations. Well, we'll get them the treatment for post-traumatic stress disorder at the VA medical centers. We'll get them treatment for chemical dependency. They'll learn at the VA how to cope with post-traumatic stress disorder, and the success will be that they'll be able to live their lives without getting tangled into the criminal justice system.
That's right. The VA has more to offer than ever before for these veterans. The biggest challenge is getting them into the VA system. Going back to that Superman syndrome, so many times these folks don't show up on the front steps of the VA asking for help. Often that first call for help comes from the back of a squad car or from a jail cell.
Take us there. Bring us through that a little bit.
Well, you'll have a veteran who does not see themselves as a criminal, who sees themselves as an honorable person, the good guy.
Well, and he is.
And they are.
She are.
And they come back having honorably served their country, and they run into problems they did not foresee. All they wanted to do was come home and get back to their life, and things keep coming up, and they end up one way or another in trouble with the criminal justice system. And at that point, we have an opportunity to reach them. We have an opportunity to get them to admit that they've got a problem they can't deal with themselves, and to get them the help that they need. Which brings us to the statute that we just got passed here in Minnesota last year. Minnesota is now the second state in the country to have a statute that encourages treatment over incarceration of these veterans when their psychological injuries bring them into the courts.
Who would you be given credit to?
Well, I drafted the original language of the bill and worked with other veterans to push it through the legislature. Senator Linda Higgins was probably our biggest champion.
Yeah. She was the Senate author. Who was the House author?
Joe Mullery,
okay, sure,
also
great,
from Minneapolis.
Great. We'd like to recognize good
Absolutely.
authors of bills.
They were fantastic, as was the County Attorneys Association. Mike Freeman, the Hennepin County Attorney, himself a veteran, helped us get this passed.
Absolutely.
Basically, the bill opens up lines of communication between the courts and the VA system, and it ensures that judges are aware of the specific treatment options that are available to veterans in the VA system, and that information is included in the pre-sentence investigation report in a case so that a judge can take that into consideration and hopefully consider treating that veteran at the VA rather than just sticking them in jail.
What they're going to do is they're going to let them know you're a vet, and we can get some help for you.
And in Hennepin County, we've been working with the criminal court and with the drug court, and we've had some notable successes with individuals. We had an individual with multiple combat tours, multiple DWIs, and we've gotten that individual chemical dependency treatment at the VA. We're getting him post-traumatic stress disorder treatment. He's working, he's in school, he's a productive citizen, and he's learning how to deal with the issues that he's got that he brought back. And one of the things we don't want to do is to label people to say that there's a third of the people that are coming back that are not going to be able to make it in society. The big thing is they can make it with treatment.
In the 10 seconds we have left, Brockton Hunter, criminal law attorney who helps veterans in court, tell us something that you have not told us that's very important that our viewers know.
These veterans coming home can come back and get on with their lives just like they spent their entire combat tour thinking about doing. The key is that they just sometimes need a little bit of help to get there. And we just want to make sure that that happens to avoid another lost generation like we had with the Vietnam generation.
Thank you for all the work that you do with veterans. Milton Schoen, Director of Veterans Service for Hennepin County, in the last few seconds.
I would just say to have them, if they're in Hennepin County, to call our number. If they're in another county, they can call LinkVet, and I think that those numbers will be placed on the screen. And LinkVet is a statewide system that can put you into contact.
And we hear very good things about Hennepin County Veterans Service.
Well,
are they true?
They are true, and we're thankful that we've got partners like Brock and others that allow us to reach people and help them.
Thank you, gentlemen. We so appreciate it. We wish we had not run out of time. Thank you so much. And thank you for being with us today on America Salutes. You can help us salute our veterans. Take good care of you, and thank you for letting us into your home.